Voters hit the polls weeks before Election Day.
The line was all the way around this parking lot yesterday morning.
The turnout after day one of early voting.
Graduates get the chance to make the walk.
I think it's cool that we actually get to have one.
How you can reserve your spot in the ceremony.
Fayetteville residents are having a hard time paying their rent during COVID. Find out how one division of the city of Fayetteville is helping them out. UATV starts now.
Welcome to this Tuesday night broadcast of UATV. I'm Sydney Brooks.
And I'm Tristan Hill. Thanks for joining us. Over 6,000 people voted on the first day of early voting in Washington County. That number totals 2,000 more voters than the last general election in 2016. Over 2,000 of the votes came from people over the age of 55. The Quorum Courtroom and Springdale Civic Center received the highest number of votes.
With early voting numbers up, some experts think the total number of votes cast in this election will also increase. Early voting serves as a way for voters to cast their ballot even if they can't on Election Day. Voters in Arkansas will vote on a variety of ballot issues, local and state election races, and the presidency. Fayetteville Mayor Lionel Jordan says he expects record numbers compared to previous elections.
I think we're going to see more people vote in this election than that I have seen since I have been running for public office, which is almost 20 years ago.
Early voting continues in the state of Arkansas until November 2nd, or the Monday before Election Day.
Residents of Washington County have plenty of options when it comes to early voting locations. Availability varies by site, and you can check each location's hours on the Washington County website. Some sites have limited hours, including Bud Walton Arena, the only early voting site on campus. Early voting ends November 2nd. And with Bud Walton Arena operating as an early voting location, the chancellor urges students to utilize it. Chancellor Steinmetz said, quote, "Your voice matters, your vote matters, and voting affects our lives in Fayetteville just as much as it affects national politics, perhaps even more," end quote. You can vote at Bud Walton Thursday through Sunday this week.
Upcoming election deadlines quickly approach in Northwest Arkansas. In-person absentee ballot drop-offs in November 2nd at the end of business hours. Absentee ballots submitted by mail must arrive no later than November 3rd. Early voting in Arkansas began yesterday and continues through November 2nd.
Students who live outside of Arkansas should keep their home state's early voting deadlines in mind. To vote early in Texas, you must do so by October 30th. Students who live in Oklahoma must vote by 2 o'clock on the 31st, and early voting in Tennessee will end 5 days before Election Day on the 29th.
Absentee voters can now vote from the comfort of their cars. The Washington County Election Commission offers drive-through ballot drop-offs. Absentee ballot voters can drive up and deposit their ballots curbside every Saturday this month. In order to turn in your ballot curbside, voters must show ID. Voters still have 2 more weeks to submit their ballot at the county courthouse.
The governor delivered his weekly remarks virtually via Zoom due to a possible exposure to COVID-19. He tested negative on Monday but remained virtual out of an abundance of caution. His remarks addressed COVID-19 cases throughout the state as well as levels of unemployment across Arkansas. The governor says unemployment caused by the pandemic continues to decrease.
Our unemployment rate in Arkansas went from 7.4% down to 7.3% this last month. That is great news for Arkansans.
The governor says over the last 24 hours, the state of Arkansas reported over 600 new cases and 14 new deaths.
The Pat Walker Health Center reports 4 new COVID-19 cases. 3 of the new cases come from staff. The other comes from an on-campus contractor or vendor. That makes a total 24 active cases. Students account for the remaining 20 cases. The campus has seen more than 1,700 total recoveries.
COVID caused over 1,700 people in Fayetteville to lose their job, and it's affecting their ability to pay rent. So the Community Resources Department is helping people to pay their bills while they're out of work. UATV's Jonathan Teal is live with the story. Jonathan.
Thanks, Tristan. In July, the Community Resources Department helped over 160 households pay their rent and other bills. Now they're getting ready for the second round of funding. The Community Resources Department is expected to receive over $500,000 from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which is double the amount that they received in the first round of funding. One community resources employee says that people are still having a hard time getting back to work. So when they receive a call saying that they're getting money to pay their rent, they are elated.
There were so many times that we called people and let them know that they had qualified and that they were going to get the funding, and they would cry, not so much because they were sad, because they were so relieved.
Fields says that their biggest concern is helping people pay their rent while they're out of work. She also says that the Community Resources Department wants to help people pay their rent now so they don't have to play catch up when they get their job back. She also says that she estimates over 250 households will be helped out during the second round of funding. For UATV, I'm Jonathan Teal.
Thanks, Jonathan. The Community Resources Department is hoping to reopen applications for funding in November.
University officials removed a protest painting displayed on campus. The painting read, "We don't care about your health, we just want your wealth." Art student Jacob Campbell says the painting protests the university not lowering tuition during a pandemic. Campbell placed it on the corner of Maple and Garland.
To Chancellor Steinmetz and the board or trustees who made these decisions that negatively affect low-income students like myself, I'm not done, and I won't be until there is some fundamental change that happens to better the lives of all students.
The university does not allow the display of personal or non-academic art.
The University of Arkansas announced virtual and live commencement ceremonies for all 2020 graduates. Students must register their attendance by November 6th to participate in their college's live commencement ceremony. All guests, students, and staff will need to social distance and wear masks. One U of A senior expresses how she feels about in-person graduation.
I was really excited. I think it's good to have some normalcy, even though like we have all this COVID stuff going on. But I was really excited.
Students can download the University of Arkansas graduation app on Google Play or the App Store for more details on graduation and commencement.
The Associated Student Government announced this year's Homecoming King and Queen last Friday. Homecoming Week events look different this year due to COVID-19 pandemic. The King and Queen announcement took place at a small pep rally at the Chi Omega Greek Theater. Katie Gartner says it's an honor to receive the title of Homecoming Queen.
So a tradition that's lasted that long is really special to get to be a part of. Even more special that this year we were still able to continue that amid everything that's going on. Really just an honor to represent the university in this way. And I can't wait to come back in future years and continue celebrating.
The Associated Student Government organizes all homecoming court elections.
It brings the differences together, and because they're so different, it just really works so well.
A new art exhibit aims to promote diversity. What one local artist's work examines.
A local business works to make sure everyone can have a quality mask. Find out how they are helping the community of Fayetteville coming up.